End of testing. 2 more to go. Let's talk security. So, why do people want to hack your website? I went through university with a gentleman who was very good at hacking. And he did it because he was bored. He was in a course that didn't challenge him, and he would go in and hack sites and not break anything. He'd just leave little messages like, fix up your security. Yeah. He was just bored. He was looking for a challenge. Other people are certainly looking to cause havoc. The most common case that we see is to use your site for a purpose. So a lot of the times, if you've got a promotional website, if I hack that website, yeah, I can put up something defaming, but what does that do for me? What I'd rather do is have control of that website and be able to do other stuff with it. Let me give you 2 examples. One is, I might want to take control, if I could take control of 10,000 websites, I can use those websites to make requests of other websites. So one website A, I've now nefariously taken over website A, I can use it to make a request of website B. If I've got website 1 to 100,000 and the Australian Bureau of Statistics is running the census and I want to give them a headache, I can take over a whole bunch of websites and I can point them and I can sit, and they don't, all they're doing is saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And that website cannot actually handle just can't load a page for all of those people simultaneously. That's called a denial of service attack, and it's a common reason why people do this. Another sort that we see is, anyone ever had an email that says, oh, we're from the National Australia Bank, you don't happen to bank with the National Australia Bank, but you get an email from them saying, there's a problem, you need to reset your password. And it sends you off to a website and you put in your new password, you just reset it to what it was, and then all of a sudden you're broke. And they take your money. But the people doing that, they don't want to go and buy a hosting account. Because if they had to buy a hosting account, they'd have to use a real credit card and the police would find them. So what they do instead is they go and take over your website, and you might not even know. They might just put it in a little subdirectory somewhere. And what they do is they put up a page that looks like the National Australia Bank. They send the links to it, assume that a reasonable percentage of people don't actually check the URLs on their browsers anymore. You put the details in, it looks exactly like the NAB, happens to shoot an email off to them, and they've now got your bank details. And so being taken over is a reason, that's another thing that hackers are looking to do. And thirdly, they want to steal your data, they want to steal credit cards, they want to steal passwords. The passwords that people use on your website, a large proportion of those are also used on Facebook and other places. And if I can get into your Facebook account, I've got a pretty good chance to commit identity theft against you. I can find out bits and pieces, I can do a whole bunch of activities that can allow me to get at you. So, how do they do it? Well, they breach security, and a lot of that comes down to outdated software. So let me give an example. WordPress is great. It's a really good package, it has a lot to offer, incredible functionality for free when you think about it. But 1/2 of today's websites in the world are going to be built in WordPress. So do you think there's a platform that hackers are looking at every day to try and find an angle in? If you've got a WordPress site, you might think, oh, it mustn't be that good on security. No, it's actually pretty good on security. It's just that it's being examined so closely because it's such a big target. And what happens is when a vulnerability is exposed, it spreads around the internet, everybody knows about it, and we all run our updates, and there's good automatic updating stuff in WordPress these days. But if you've got an old version of WordPress, and this can happen in all different platforms as well, that's where people get in. And we've certainly seen that. They do a denial of service attack where they just get lots of taken over machines to just throw a bunch of traffic at you. We've had this happen with our clients. So we've had clients had denial of service attacks against them. And things like being able to, we had one that came out of India, and one of the techniques we used, we just blocked all traffic from India. They'd never sold a thing to India. They blocked all traffic to India. The people went away and we were okay. And the last one, if I was going to be a hacker, this is how I would do it. I would use social engineering. I'd get on the phone and I'd tell people a sob story about the password that I'd forgotten, and I would, I had no intentions of being a hacker, but the social engineering is using your words, using your ability to talk to operators. So please don't ever get irritated at the people that validate you when you ring up whatever institution it is. Those people are absolutely doing you a favour, as annoying as it might be. In fact, be worried if you can get to your personal information with any organisation and they don't pre-screen you. That is a problem. You want to be pre-screened. So protecting yourself, use good passwords. A good password is long, has different stuff in it, and it's easy to remember. In my opinion, actually it's not in my opinion, this is a computer could hack that password faster than it could hack that one. So I could use what's called a brute force attack. That's getting one computer to simply try again and again and again and again and again. Long passwords that are easy to remember are much better than short passwords, even if they've got obscure characters in them. You want to use unique passwords. My parents find this very difficult. And the reason is they just don't want to remember lots of stuff. And you know what? I don't want to remember lots of stuff. So I use password management software. There's really good stuff that's free out there now. My password for Facebook is not the same as Twitter, is not the same as any of the other stuff. I'm happen to live in the Apple ecosystem. There's one that is a paid one called 1Password that I particularly like. There's another one called LastPass, which works in a broad range of areas. It's good. They have to hack your platform to get at it. So using unique passwords. Protecting your site. You don't want to hold valuable data. There's no reason today to hold credit cards. You want to use one-way password encryption. Again, we do this for you. If you can get your password back out in plain text of a system, there's a problem. You should never be able to do that. And in WordPress, just change the URL of your admin website. If you can go to yourwebsite.com.au/wp-login.php, that's the standard location, you can change that URL. You've instantly knocked out 90% of the problems that you're going to experience. Go lightly on plugins. Plugins are additions you can get into WordPress. Some people just go crazy and it's often a plugin that gets exploited. And for a lot of our clients, we now host their promotional websites separately to their application. So if their promotional website's exposed, it's actually, all they can do is defame the website. They can get nothing of real value. You want to confirm you have working backups. A local hosting provider had the challenge recently of their servers all got taken down, and they discovered at that point that none of their backups worked, and they had to ring all their clients and say, we've lost your site and we've lost your backups. One of the things that we'll often do is just buy for our services, we buy a cheap and nasty hosting account somewhere else, and we have a little nightly process that just takes all the latest stuff and dumps it. And just dumps it every night. So yes, we've never had to use it. We've got the hosting backup if that's what we'd actually use. But if the hosting company got taken out in its entirety, we've got a little cheap backup happening on a second level. There's really good monitoring to tell you about problems now. New Relic is a platform that we really like. And I just wanted to give people a question. If your developer doesn't know what an SQL injection attack is, you don't need to know. This is a random question you can ask of any developer and say, what's an SQL? What do you do about SQL injection attacks? What's an SQL? If you just ask that, if you get people looking back at you with glazed eyes, run. The first year developers know the answer to this question. This is a real easy one to test any developer. And if you're worried, you can look like an expert by typing in the name of your technology, WordPress, Django, whatever it is, security checklist. This stuff's published all over the internet.